Just did the Parma Tavern this past Sunday. Loved getting into Parma. I love being all up inside you, Parma.
Okay.
And Sunday I'll be at Around the Corner starting at 3 o'clock right there in Lakewood.
The Browns are playing in Seattle. What's the Seattle football team?
Seahawks.
Look at this guy.
Boy, he's on
I know
fire.
that because Sierra's husband, Russell Wilson, used to play.
Don't tell people why you know these things. Just shut up. Just
take the win.
Just be like, less is more in this situation. Just know it.
Let's develop an air of mystique so people can be pleasantly flummoxed as to how you can generate these answers so quickly.
Okay.
What's the Seattle hockey team? Newest in the league.
Oh, God, I don't know that. I don't know. I couldn't even guess.
Release the
Penguins?
Release the Penguins. Nope, that's the Pittsburgh
Release the
hockey team. Release the Penguins. The Kraken, the Seattle Kraken would be the heard about Pittsburgh, PA. Oh, first down.
Yeah, I should know about that. My roommate was from Pittsburgh, and he loved the Penguins.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I had many roommates over the years.
I'm sorry?
I had many roommates over the years.
Sure.
That's how I knew that you weren't, like, that wasn't an act, that Pittsburgh accent, because he used to really talk like that. I didn't realize what you were doing until I was like, oh, yeah. His name was Shane, but, like, he used to talk like that all the time.
10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Result of the play will be a first down. Replay first down. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down. Personal foul. Defense, number 58. 15 yards from the end of the run. Result, first down. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
5-yard penalty, still first down. You got to red up your locker room as soon as you get back in there. Don't fall into the Jagger bushes. I told you before, Jenna has been on fire today. Normally when she calls, and people do like to kind of dip in and check up on her and see how she's doing, and usually just about every day she'll be leaving me voicemails of just her growling, and I don't know if it's just kind of maybe that's a kind of a psychosomatic reaction on her part. I don't know what, but it's a lot of every day. It's a lot of that, but then sometimes she'll leave messages for it.
It's time for Sweet Nothings with Jenna from Poland.
I'm sorry, but I'm not in the mood for preppy people today.
This has been Sweet Nothings with Jenna from Poland.
Short and sweet nothings. Short and sweet. She gets right to the point. She called a little while ago, said, I don't care what Cody says. All men suck. Or was she agreeing with you? Because I didn't think you were saying the opposite.
I don't know what she was referencing.
I think it was because he was saying that some aren't good at it, and then she took it in a different direction.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's that, too. I feel bad for this girl. Everybody's dragging her because people love to... I try to make a concerted effort to not be a get-off-my-lawn kind of guy. I'm 52 years old. I have 2 kids in college, but I also have a second grader. So I feel like I have a leg on both sides, and I also have made a career out of a job that rewards immaturity. That's not coincidental. That's very much by design. And as you get older, you kind of start to see things through a little bit of a different filter. But I work very hard on not becoming that guy that just turns around and goes, you kids don't know anything because blah, blah, blah. Because no matter how cool you think you're going to be, there's going to be part of that to the younger group behind you. You know, millennials and, you know, Gen Z, who are the kids now, someday they will sadly get to the point where they're looking at the generation behind them and saying, you damn kids, you know, when I was your age.
I feel like that now, though.
You feel like you're a get off my lawn kind of guy now?
I feel like kids now are ungrateful. Like I have dated guys who they didn't come out in high school, they didn't come out to college, and then I see these kids now and they're going to prom with their boyfriends. I'm like, ugh, if only. So that's the only way I feel.
I guess I think it's important to remember that life moves so quickly that it's apples and oranges when you're talking about the difference between generations. I mean, there are some through lines that you can connect to. We're all still living on planet Earth, but things change so quickly. Technology and environment and everything else. I don't mean physical environment. I mean just the way people grow up and what they're exposed to. That when people go, you kids and your blah, 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 you might as well just say like, you know, I'm a bear and you grew up a raccoon. Like it's two separate things. There's this girl that went viral, young girl. I think she's probably in her mid-20s. And she's talking about how her 9-to-5 job makes her sad because she doesn't have any time. And she's, you know, she's not, people are bagging on her just because she's young. And I guess it's low-hanging fruit. But the way she describes it, I think of it more in terms of, yeah, that's not what life is supposed to be. And you come out of college and you're like, well, man, this is kind of, you know.
It's depressing.
It's depressing.
Like, we are very lucky. Like, I consider myself incredibly lucky to have a job that is fun, and coming to work doesn't feel like I'm, you know, it's not soul-sucking like other people's jobs.
But we've worked those jobs.
We have. And
not as a career, thank God.
But it's, so when someone works a lot and they don't like it, I have no problem with that.
And I don't know what she does. I just know that people are like, oh, these kids. And I'm like, man,
and also
try to put yourself in that person's shoes. And it's like if that was you.
But also, why are you so, like, I get that you're proud that you worked hard for stuff, but what you did was just buy into this whole idea that working is more important than anything else. And it's not. Because my dad works incredibly hard. My dad worked real hard all through, and he provided a great life with us.
Yeah.
A great life for us. But I have no connection to him because of that.
Because he was gone all the time.
Well, he'd work all day, and he'd come home tired, and he was not easy to be around because he was so tired and stressed from work. So
that's the tough thing too.
Where the balance is important, and if you don't have that balance, it takes a toll on other aspects of your life. So my dad, great guy, love him, no real connection with him because there were other things that were more important to him than spending quality time with us.
Well, also he's like trying to create a life for everybody too,
right?
Like
and he did.
That's what.
But
that's
cost,
that weird.
You know.
Well, I know that's that weird thing where you look behind you and you got kids and you're like, I'm trying to keep everybody afloat here, man. I mean, you know, I don't want to be doing this all the time. I mean, you know. Anyway, this girl, I don't know what she does for a living. I cleaned up the audio because she F-bombs in it. Yeah.
I know I'm probably just being so dramatic and annoying, but this is my first job, like my first 9-to-5 job after college, and I'm in person, and I'm commuting in the city, and it takes me forever to get there. There's no way I'm going to be able to afford living in the city right now, so that's off the table. Like, duh! If I was able to walk to work, and it'd be fine, but I'm not. So it literally takes me, like, I leave here, like, I get on the train at 7:30, and I don't get home till, like, 6:15 earliest, and then, like, I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep. I don't have time or energy to cook my dinner either. Like, I don't have energy to work out. Like, that's out the window. Like, I'm so upset. Oh my God. Nothing to do with my job at all, but just like the 9-to-5 schedule in general is crazy. Being in the office 9 to 5, like if it was remote, you get off at 5 and you're home and everything's fine. But like, I'm not home. It takes me long to get home, and like people that drive to the office, like you don't get off at 5. And I know it could be worse. I know I could be working longer, but like I literally get off, it's pitch black. Like I don't have energy. How do you have friends? Like how do you have time to like meet like a guy? I don't know. Like how do you have time for like dating? Like I don't have time for anything, and I'm like so stressed out, and I'm also getting my period, so that's why I'm all emotional. But like,
you
so
buried the lead there. Right.
I mean, none of that is unreasonable. You know, there's a lot of people who got to identify with that.
Things cost,
and they don't have to be 25 years old.
Things cost way more than what they used to, and it's insane that I don't like to think about it because it will stress me out, but I don't understand why at this point in my life I chose to live alone at the worst economic crisis ever. Like, I've always hustled. I've always had multiple jobs.
Yeah, but there's also, like, never going to be the perfect time to do anything. Like, you got to live your life.
There were better times.
No, I mean, that's true, but guess what? They're not coming back anytime soon.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I feel her pain, and I look at it, and when you say like there's always your dad always used to say there's always someone that has it worse. I think that's probably me because she has a 9 to 5. At least she has a set schedule. She probably gets benefits. I've had multiple jobs, juggled all those schedules, 3 different bosses, and don't get benefits, don't get time off.
Well, I don't know anything about her job. All I know is that she works 9 to 5 and commutes. I don't know that she's got bennies. I don't know that she. I
would assume that's a full-time shift. So
there's a lot of people who work full-time don't have benefits.
Even if but she's not even talking about the benefits. She's talking about
just going into
the logistics of it.
The amount of toll that it takes on your life because the commute is miserable, and then you get home and you're just zapped of energy,
and you don't get paid extra for your commute.
No, and you can't afford to live in the city because it's too expensive. It sounds like she works in a major city, but I
feel her.
I have no problem with her being upset about this because it sucks.
What's funny is Cleveland is probably the only city where it's cheaper to live in the city than the suburbs. Yeah. Like, I lived in Cleveland. My rent was so cheap. But then again, I also had a roommate. But, I mean, it was probably neighborhoods that you don't want to live in. But...
yeah, but even the city is not as cheap as it used to be.
No, it's not.
Like, I mean, the parts of the city where most people want to live, if they want to live in Tremont or Ohio City, or those places are a lot more expensive than they used to be.
But
if you want to live someplace cheap, I know a comedian friend of mine, Marty's got a place, and he's paying $400 a month.
Is he by the railroad tracks there?
I don't.
He's in the trap somewhere.
Yeah, he's somewhere.
Because I thought he used to be out by me.
He did.
He was across from the Speedway, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was there for a while, but now he's in a $400 a month apartment, which
I didn't think they still made those.
I didn't either. So which goes to show. Oof.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I have not seen it. I don't need to see it.
I kind of would want to see it, just see where $400 gets you.
It never gets you anywhere good. I mean, 30 years ago, my first apartment was $365, and that was in Chicago.
My first apartment.
And it's not because it was 30 years ago. It's because it was a terrible, terrible neighborhood. Like, they couldn't get this place rented out, and I had no money.
My college bedroom in a 6-bedroom house was $240 a month.
My first apartment was in Tremont. It was an efficiency apartment. It was $230 a month. I could pay for that with one weekend of hosting at the Improv.
Sure.
And I would be out on the road man, I loved that little spot.
I mean, I will say, if you're going to pay more to live in the city, like Tremont, Ohio City, whatever, if commuting is your problem, it's not a problem here. Like, you'll pay to live in the city, and it'll be, if your GPS says 15 minutes to wherever you're going, it will take 15 minutes to get there. You don't have Chicago traffic. We don't really have a rush hour anymore after COVID. So that would alleviate her problems.
There's a bit of a rush hour, but again, the commute is a problem, but like I get what she's saying. Like, it's exhausting. And
that's as a single person. You don't have kids. You're only responsible for yourself. So you have people working that kind of thing, but they have kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, man.
Well, the people that commute in New York City from like New Jersey, like the bridge and tunnel people.
I know people that do that, yeah.
And I just can't believe they allow that to be their life.
Or I have a friend that lives in Connecticut, and he commutes in.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even...
How much is he making good enough money that it's even worth it, or is it just...
He lives with his parents, so it's not really a big deal.
But like, I know people, they make good money, but they're not getting rich, and then everything's so expensive there. It's brutal.
I remember my dad had to retire early because he got sick in 2008. But the last couple of years before that, his company got sold. He was an engineer for this company, and it got sold. And they were cutting a whole bunch of people. My dad was like he was like some kind of management type or something like that. And they said, we'd love to keep you on, but we're moving our headquarters to Racine, Wisconsin. So, and they were clearly trying to weed people out. But my dad was so close to going out on his own terms. He's like, they were like, we really would like you to stay on because we really need you, blah, blah, blah. He hated his life. It was a 2-hour commute.
So he did it.
He did it for 2 years. He hated it.
I'm surprised.
My dad hated being in the car anyways. It was
Yeah.
like, but for 2 years, he commuted from Chicago to Racine, Wisconsin. Straight up the lake, but it was a 2-hour commute
every day
there and back. 4 hours in the car.
That's
No way.
Oh, it was.
That's what
I felt so bad.
cured him.
I wish.
Yeah, well, like,
But he was like, I'm
'cause
so
wasn't he-
close that, Yeah.
I don't know how he did that. That would be
Nope, I
not
don't
fun.
either. Nope. And there's people who do that.
Yeah. I know
There's people who
that,
listen to us that do that kind of thing. They're like, yeah, I got 90 minutes each way. Or I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I had a friend that lived in Kent, and he worked out in, it was like Willoughby or something like that. And I didn't think that was that long of a drive. He said, it's like an hour and a half. I was like, Jesus, like it's so far. Or no, it was out towards Painesville.
Okay.
Still, like that, it was so long. And because he would leave at rush hour, like he would have to.
Yeah, it's like an hour.
A lot of time for
Painesville
that.
to Kent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then he gets stuck in traffic on top of that.
Oof.
That's one thing. Like,
On
if you're
271.
doing the commute and you're moving, that's one thing. When you're doing a commute that has traffic and you get in traffic jams more, that is unbearable. So to everybody that's listening that has to deal with this on a daily basis, you're the real heroes out there. You
are the real
You guys are out there
heroes.
grinding and doing it, and I have a lot of respect for people that can do that. And I get and just
A lot of them
because
have mobile offices in their phone or in their car.
well, I think you know
But
this
still.
girl being stressed out and not liking it. I think a lot of people feel that way, but they're just so deep in it that they go, "Hey, what else am I going to do? I just got to suck it up and just keep going."
Yeah.
Because I got people to provide for. I got a life to live. But
How
yeah,
to strip.
And you're right out of college. You don't want to be complaining about your first job. And I
right.
mean, everyone has complaints relative to their job, but still, it's like, you know, you're going to what, Poundcake?
I
Strip?
think if I was her, I'm just saying she sounds like a cute young girl. Strip.
You know, that's not everybody's answer, right? Some people want to kind of have some, you know, credibility as they go down the
like
road.
she went to college. She got the job. It sounds like she wanted.
That's even
Just-
hotter.
yeah.
College graduate. Like, you know, here you go, a smart girl or whatever. Call her.
That's what they call her out. Here
Yeah.
comes Smart
Smart
Girl.
Girl.
Yeah, everybody. Smart Girl for you. That's right. D's get degrees. And sometimes degrees get D's. Give it up for Smart Girl.
Summa cum laude.
Yeah, come loudly. Yeah, all right, everybody. She graduated on top of her class. Yeah, well, I know that's your answer, Cody, but you have maybe a 2-year window to do that, and then what do? When you're flabby and not hot anymore. Then what
Hopefully
happens?
You stacked your money. Hopefully you saved it.
Well, that's because of the liberal tolerance, right? Which
Must be destroyed.
4 out of 5 of the most obese states are red states, by the way.
Yes, of course they are. That's what I didn't understand what he was talking about.
What's the one that's the liberal state?
Wisconsin, but
Really?
that's like a
Just cheese.
purple state.
This obesity problem is because
Obesity.
of sugar and trans fats and saturated
Right?
fats.
Yes, correct.
People sitting on their butts,
Correct.
eat less, move more.
Correct.
Liberal tolerance needs to be destroyed.
What, bro?
I'm
Yeah,
with
you
him on
had me and then you
everything.
lost me.
I'm with him on everything, and then he makes it a liberal tolerance thing that
What
like
is
that's
he
the reason
talking about?
that everybody's fat.
Tolerance. Yes, we tolerate. Well, because you'll hear those kinds of people get into those things too, where they're like, "Oh, body positivity." Ugh." Like, okay, you're right.
All right.
You don't exactly look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, homie. I don't know who that guy is, but
And I saw a video of a YouTuber that was super, like she's anorexic and just.
oh god, yeah.
Did you see that lady?
Oh, yeah.
That was upsetting.
And people are like calling 911 for this woman,
Yeah.
and yeah,
She looks like a.
we've talked about her before. Eugenia Cooney is her name.
Mm-hmm.
And she's there in Massachusetts, and she's like Jack Skellington with a
Yeah.
wig,
But
but she's also like way into Nightmare Before Christmas, so clearly she identifies with Jack Skellington too. She's 29. She looks like she's 11. Probably hasn't had a period in 10 years. Super, super thin. But to hear her say it, and I don't know if she's pro anorexia or if that's just her vibe, but to hear her say it, she's like, I'm happy, I'm fine. I have a severe eating disorder, but she's terrifyingly thin.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are hip to Eugenia Cooney. I mean, she's in the news every so often because there will be waves of people who go, we got to get this woman some help.
I just saw that story that people were calling 911 on her behalf because she's so skinny. And
I didn't know you could be that thin. I didn't know.
You've never seen photos of starving Africans? Those people are alive. I mean, they're severely malnourished. They're alive.
How could you?
That's how thin she is.
Like, how could you just not want a Big Mac? I just don't understand. It just looks so good.
She probably does.
Or a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
There probably has to be an immense amount of discipline that goes along with this.
Well,
that's not the kind of discipline I think people should have.
Is that a guy's fetish or something?
What's that?
Would a guy want you know how some guys want a girl that's crazy fat and watch them eat? Like, do some guys like want to watch a girl like not eat?
Just crunch ice or something?
How do you watch a girl not eat?
Just sitting there.
Actually, most of the stuff I watch with girls in it is them not eating. Every once in a while, I'll get a little snack at the end.
Really like super skinny girls. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe she's lived to 29. I mean, being that thin and maintaining that and the whole thing. So, yeah, it's somebody that has a severe mental and physical disorder. But there's always somebody trying to swing in on a chandelier and save her. She wants nothing to do with it.